Hello folks, just wanted to do a quick follow-up video to the basic setup of the ieGeek CCTV security camera. So if you haven't already seen that video for the basic setup, I'll leave a link in the description below. So this basically assumes that you're at this stage now where you've got your your camera set up with the app, and it will connect to your Wi-Fi, to your router and to your internet connection in your house. So then you would then disconnect this, and then you're looking at installing this probably on the outside wall of your house. So I've got this little mock-up set up here just so we can have a look at how I've gone about putting this up on the outside of my house. I do get asked this quite a lot. How do we go about getting all this crap through into the house to connect to the power? You don't necessarily need to do that. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can drill a great big hole in the side of your house and you look like a bit of an idiot, or failing that, you're looking at putting a little box on the outside of your house, and all this crap and gubbins will be located on the inside of that box, and then the only thing that you need to run is the power cable from the inside of the house, and then you can connect everything inside the box there. So for the sake of this demonstration, imagine this piece of wood here is the wall of your house. You mounted your camera roughly whereabouts you want it. The back plate on the camera you can rotate so that the cable comes out the right direction. What I would do initially is drill, I don't know, perhaps a 10mm hole, something like that, with a long masonry bit. Make sure that goes through to the inside of the house. When you're getting nearly through to the inside of the house, just go very slow, otherwise you'll punch a great big hole off the inside of your house. If your bit isn't big enough to accommodate the plug, you're going to need to do a second step and use a slightly thicker drill. So I've used in this instance, and on my house, 16mm masonry bit to finish up, and that will actually allow one cable to pass through and then actually another cable to be passed through, so I can actually pass two cables through the same hole, which is what I've actually done. So we'll assume that we've got a hole big enough to get the power plug through the hole there, and now we're going to go about fitting this little box to the wall. Now obviously if this is a brick wall or a masonry wall, you're going to need to start drilling and putting plugs in and screws and what have you. This is just timber, so I'm just going to screw this up with a couple of wood screws. What I would suggest you do, obviously I've made the same size hole in the back of the box there. What I would do is just run a little bead of silicone just round that, just to stop any water ingress into the hole and what have you. It's not. So you can get these little water resistant boxes pretty much anywhere. I mean, I'll pick this up from Toolstation, you'll get one from Screwfix or any DIY store. They're just for connecting cables outside, which is basically what we're going to be doing. So you got yourself to this state. What you need to do now is to get the cable from the inside of the house, from the power adapter, to come through. So what I would do is either take one of the drills that you used beforehand, or perhaps a long thin cane or a stick or something, poke that through to the inside of the house, and then when you're on the inside of the house, you can apply some, I don't know, insulation tape or something to tape those two together, and then you can pull that back through. And then once you're through, obviously you can pull your cable through to that state. Okay, these little plugs on the sides here, you can just poke those out, Now, and it just so happens this hole in here is a 20mm hole, which is absolutely the perfect size for the largest of those plugs. So you plug everything else through. That's that. You then go down the route of putting some cable clips just across that to hold that nice and neat. I won't do that. Okay, so we've got the cable pinned to the wall. I mean, you can make a neater job than this. This is just for demonstration purposes. So what you would be looking at doing now is bundling that up, and then you can stash that in there. Now, different size boxes are available if you want a slightly larger box. And obviously you've got a little hole in there. You can either fill that with a bit of silicone, perhaps a little bit of duct tape in there just to keep spiders and creepy crawlies out. And that's actually grey from underneath, so you wouldn't really notice that. So once you're at that stage, little cover on the reset button, and then you just put the cover on the front. Okay, and from the outside that looks reasonably neat. So that's how I went about doing this. I'm sure if you can think of something better, then fine. But that's a simple enough method of connecting all those cables fairly neatly on the outside of your house. So okay, so I've just shown you fitting the cable through the box and sealing that hole up with a bit of tape. If you do manage to get one of these boxes, a better alternative rather than sticking a bit of tape over there is actually opening out the little sort of seal there. So what you do, you slice off the end of the little bung to whichever hole would be suitable, and then, you know, with a knife just slice through the actual bung itself and open it out, because obviously you'd never get that through there. So you need to open it out like that, put that on the cable, and then you can push that up through that hole. Bit of a struggle, but it will go in. Okay, and then obviously these is a neater and a better solution than a bit of tape. The tape is really if you get one of these boxes that doesn't have these bungs, and they do have solid sides, maybe with a push out little disc, where you're going to be struggling. But if you do have these little bungs in there, just slice off so that obviously it reveals the right size hole, and then cut through, and then you can just put it through like that. It's just a better solution. Okay.